Nice. Why don't we just go around the table and maybe you guys can introduce yourselves and your project. It'll help me to help you with this workshop. So yeah, just start with let's start from the top with Adamson. If you can just introduce yourself and a little bit about your project, and then as more people join, we'll start the workshop. Feel free to type in the meetings chat. You can't unmute yourself for any reason if you double dip in this workshop with your full-time job. Geoff, you wanna introduce your project? Tell everyone what you're working on. Okay, we've got Mike Joey just joined us. Welcome, Mike. It's lovely to have you here. I'm assuming that most of you guys are from the HackSecret hackathon and maybe even a couple from the GOV.DAO community as well. Okay, we're working on a decentralized social media platform. Nice stuff. Geoff's is working on a cross-chain privacy voting app. Okay, that's very interesting. We're doing the same thing over at GOV.DAO, so definitely shoot me a DM about that. Mike, I see you don't have your HackSecret role, so I'm just going to add you that now. So your name is about to turn blue. As well, I'm going to add Aramson. I'm not sure what this role does, but I'm sure you probably want to have that. Okay, I'm working on a social media app where users can post comments, upvotes, and the author can be compensated with some ETH. So I want to use Secret Network to encrypt my datas. Brilliant. Okay. Very interesting stuff. And Aramson, you are now with the HackSecret sort of blue role. Okay, I've just posted today's slides in the chat. And let's just make sure that there's nobody up in the main chat, because that happens sometimes as well. And move them over to this chat, and then we will get going. Okay, let's see. Cool. Okay, so this is the chat we're going to use for this call. I'll try and keep an eye on it. If you do have a burning question about any of the stuff that you see today, just feel free to unmute yourself and jump in, or just let me know that you posted something in the meters chat. Or if a question gets posted in the chat and I can't see it because I'm into the slideshow, I'd appreciate it if someone could just unmute and let me know so I can come back to it and then we can cover it right then and there. If not, there'll be a Q&A session at the end where you can ask us anything. And yeah, welcome and thanks for coming today. So let me share the screen and just if someone can just confirm that this is working for me in a moment, and that would be brilliant. Yeah. Okay, can we see the slides? Honk once for yes, honk twice for no.
Looks great. You can see it.
Thank you, Sean. Okay, brilliant. Right, let's dive in then. So this is the perfect pitch deck workshop. So usually once you finish your hackathon project, you would build a little pitch deck to present it to the judges. But this one covers that, and also if you get a little bit further than hackathons and you start going for private funding, this is going to teach you how to build an amazing pitch deck to present to potential investors. So talking about investment funds, or maybe you're going for a grant proposal or anything like that, you need to have a nice pitch deck for your project ready. And it's also great if you're trying to onboard users and clients and have separate pitch decks with them as well. So this is just going to teach you how to build those perfect pitch decks, what to include, what to avoid, and yeah, and then just feel free to jump in with any suggestions or anything that you've struggled with or anything like that along the way. Okay, let's move into slideshow mode. So does that display as a slideshow, Sean? Is that okay for everybody? Full screen?
Yep.
Yep, okay, beautiful, cool. So my name on here is Skrillah. I did found a DAO called Secret Agency with a couple of other hardcore secret agents over the last couple of years. I'm now the head of partnerships and project over at product over at GOV.DAO, which is a mainly a legal and regulatory advisory that deals with DAO frameworks and that kind of thing. And we're also developing DAO tooling. We won the last cohort of the Secret Grants program as well. So we're developing some DAO tooling with privacy as a service features and solutions in there as well. I have a background in product development and e-commerce. So I used to be a chef for 15 years. I then went into developing food products for e-commerce and fitness equipment, that kind of thing. A lot of background in supply chain. I was trying to automate a lot of those processes, and I became very enraptured with blockchain and seeing how that could automate the more boring parts of supply chain. But at the same time, I don't want to reveal all of my supply chains for new products to all of my competitors. So I needed a private smart contract chain. That led me to Secret Network. And really, I enjoy teaching people. And by teaching other people, I learn myself and get connected to lots of new projects. So I do a lot of workshops as part of the Say Something Cultural Association in my city. I teach people about Web3 and AI, and also some art stuff as well outside of tech. And if you want to check out our website, you can head to GOV.DAO.io. That's where we kind of do all of our blockchainy stuff. Cool. So what is a pitch deck? So it's usually a slideshow in either Google Slides or PDF format is usually the way things go. You want it to be visible on a phone more than anything else, I think. It's usually a short but informative overview of a project. I would say taking longer than 15 minutes is a big no-no, because generally when you're putting this in front of people, you don't want to be taking 45 minutes, an hour to explain a project. You want to leave as much time for Q&A as possible. Covering the products and services that you provide and your go-to-market plan, your financial projections, how are you going to make money? The big overarching goal is to build up fear of missing out, FOMO. So if you're pitching something to an investor, you want to build up the FOMO that if they don't jump onto this project, they're going to, potentially miss out on a big gain. Okay, so when you're reaching out to investors, it's probably not going to be an instant process that they just fund you right away. It's usually 90 days, you would say, to get all the due diligence done. Everyone needs to, there's lots of legal stuff that needs to happen. You need to, have, different disclaimers on both sides and all this kind of stuff. Usually takes 90 days, I would say, and that's probably the shortest estimate of time to get something like this through. Okay, so start early is the message there. Okay, so number one slide, the value proposition. You've got a short and sweet tagline. You've got an amazing project. We are the private decentralized Uber, for example. You have to think early about the brand identity of your product. So make it look professional. Make sure you've got a logo, font, color scheme, color palette, graphic design style that really looks snazzy. When I did AI Academy, which is on the right-hand side here, I used logoai.com, and I was able to get all this done in about 15 minutes with a logo that I really liked. And it also made all of these coffee cups and business card templates. I think I paid $50 for it at the time. So that was really helpful for me to get this project off the ground and get the Eventbrite up and start to generate revenue with it. I would say keep it consistent. The more times you change it, the more times you're going to have to update graphics and update articles that you've already published, and it's just not going to look as good as if you just start with something that you like and roll with that and get the project launched. Slide number 2, the problem. So you need to briefly describe the problem that your project addresses. I won't spend too much time here because it's quite negative, but you can go a bit later on into the competitor analysis and where other projects fail to address the problem that you've identified. So here's an example from a pitch deck from a project on Secret Network, actually, talking about the amount of hacks and money stolen from exploits and that kind of thing. Okay, so next you want to hit your target market. So usually describe how big the target market is. You can use any info from your competitors, user adoption and usage. If you can get hold of their pitch deck, amazing, because then you can just take some ideas from that. I would be honest here and not say that like your addressable market is the entire planet or anything like that. Just be honest and kind of describe your ideal customer. Often, if you are getting investment from a fund, they might put you into what's called an accelerator program where you might meet your ideal customers who are working on other projects as well. So again, building the FOMO is key. Next, then, very important, you've got to describe your solution. So let's hit them with a value proposition. You can use really nice graphics to explain complex solutions. I mean, this one hasn't. This is from Fina, which is a successful project that's launched on Secret Network. They here are describing all these non-custodial wallets that people use on the crypto world, having a direct top up, a single on-chain transaction to be able to spend with their Fina card in the real world. So you can actually top up with crypto, spend it in any shop for any product, that kind of thing, like a debit card. That could be explained with 1,000 words or a very, very simple image that probably it doesn't take someone very long to make. So this is a perfect example of using a graphic to explain a complex solution. Usually the people you're speaking to on initial pitch deck will have the investment funds will have technical advisors that can go through your documentation and white papers later on. So you don't need to get super technical unless you're speaking to someone that's got a PhD in whatever your cryptographic solution is. Then I would imagine that it wouldn't get too technical, and it could bore them if you start to get too technical straight away. So keep it simple. Next, you have a revenue model. So how will your project make money? Here we've got another successful launch on Secret Network, which is Secret Admirers. They, in their pitch deck, this has probably changed over time, but they describe several ways where their token and their product can generate revenue. Okay, so you can read that here. How will the money you make generate return for the investors is important as well. So what's the feedback revenue capture for investors as well? What's the utility? And again, try to use graphics here if possible as well. You can take a couple of slides to explain this if you have multiple revenue models. Yeah, just try to be brief. Slide 6. So your user acquisition plan. This is how you're going to attract customers to your product. A couple of ideas are incentivized test nets and airdrops generate a lot of users coming in, but it can take a lot of time to sift through lots of messages about when airdrop. Ambassador schemes are good as well. Here on the left-hand side, you can see that Serenity Shield, again, a product using Secret Privacy as a Service, was doing an incentivized testnet before they launched their Strongbox app. So that was a good way to get people in and using the platform. And then that data is something that you can present to potential investors as well. And I just wanted to show off another solution, which is like an ambassador scheme, but that actually rewards the users for on-chain interaction. So a lot of these ambassador schemes are stuff like retweet this, post this, make an article, all kind of social actions. But this one, Bonus Block, actually rewards users for on-chain interactions, and it works on Secret and Cosmos and all those kind of chains as well. So do check that out. If anyone's interested in that, we can get you connected up to their team as well. Slide 7, project roadmap. So On this slide, you should include the key milestones of the progress so far. Any big wins should be highlighted. Let's say you did a really successful incentivized testnet and you hit all your goals, talk about it. If you launched an ambassador program, talk about it. It doesn't all have to be technical stuff. And it's kind of interesting to see, like, okay, this project has got 10,000 followers on Twitter. That could probably be a step on the roadmap, for example. So your ideal project roadmap includes deliverables, scopes, risks, all that kind of stuff is identified. Main contacts and key milestones and their schedule and timeline. Good examples to look for actually is if we go to serenityshield.io, I hope they've still got this on their website. They had a brilliant roadmap on here. If you scroll down, and it's all kind of interactive as well. Okay, here we go. So 2024 roadmap. So if you, this is really nice on mobile as well, which is great. So you can just scroll down, and then all of this different stuff opens up. Okay, bug bounty program. They get in another audit done. They are, announcing brand deployments, this kind of thing. Strongbox Pro, so that's another version of their app. If we just scroll down, there's some AI deployment going on, some blockchain announcements as well, and yeah, so it's just a really nice way of kind of getting everything that your team is working on into one place. And I believe that they cross them off like this, and as and when they're done. So staking and yield farming is looks like it's been crossed off and that's been completed. So it allows people to just check in and see what's been done, how they're getting on with this roadmap. Okay, so lots of cool stuff on there. And it will also make it clear where the funding is going to go as well. Some teams do split this up into like different like marketing roadmaps and that kind of thing. I think it's cool to just keep it in one for the purposes of a pitch, because you want to keep it down to 15 minutes. Okay, any further marketing plans can go into the next slide. So stuff like podcast partnerships, if you've got any features in the crypto press, any upcoming collaborations with other businesses. Alpha is always welcome as well. If there's anything that you're going to drop within the next couple of weeks, you could probably share that a little bit early with people you're speaking to about investment, maybe. And yeah, and slide 9 is usually the team. Some people put this earlier, but I think it builds the FOMO a bit quicker to get the product stuff out of the way and then go into the team. So you really want to put like your key founders at the top, and then what experience they've got. So here we've got, this is Secret Labs, actually, the team behind the core development of Secret Network. Guy Ziskin, CEO and founder, alumni at MIT, alumni at MIT, and then you've got several other people, including the developers who are like ex-cybersecurity and IDF. This is actually old, so this is changed. So don't quote me on this, guys. It's been around for a while, but it's a brilliant way to show off your team and their skills. So yeah, and you can see that they've accentuated the fact that Guy Ziskins was at Michigan Institute of Technology, and the two lead developers, were at the IDF as cybersecurity experts there before they started this blockchain. Slide 10, revenue projections then. So you've got, this is where you show your potential profit and any kind of revenue capture that you're going to make. It's best to use simple charts here. You haven't got time to explain super long spreadsheets. It's better to forecast the revenue per number of users or subscribers. If you have actual data from testnets or any mainnet deployments that you've already done on EVM, for example, then you can include that, of course. And you can also include like a best and worst case range. So yeah, maybe you'd have like a Bollinger Band or something like that almost, with like best case at the top, revenue capture, and worst case at the bottom. And you can show the return to investors at each adoption milestone as well. So you could have that split in lines as well. Slide 11. So this feeds back to the problem slide at the very start. So this is where you can have like a competitor analysis infographic. For example, here is a product called the Shield. And these are quite useful in any kind of product development. Actually, you can show off your product with a load of green ticks with all its features, with your competitors' products with kind of like orange or red X's where they don't hit these features. Slide 12, investment round information. So this is probably the most important slide, I would say, and where a lot of teams fail to give the amount of information that's required. So, you know, the first questions that you're going to get from investors, even when you just send them a pitch deck, is how many tokens are you offering? What's the price of the offering? How much are you targeting to raise? Is any other investors involved? What's the fully diluted value? All this kind of stuff. And if you don't have this ready, then you're just going to look like a bit of an idiot, basically. So make sure you've got the full details of your investment round into your slides, into your pitch deck, and ready to answer those questions. You can include the success of a previous round if applicable. If you've done one before, that's always really good. If you have lead investors or angel investors already, include them. Maybe you don't want to dox them, but you can include how much has already been invested. That's a big green tick for your profile. And you can also include the full details of your current round evaluation. This is taken from a successful project that launched and filled these seed investors. They filled the seed investor round. You can see there that that's marked as completed. And then they went into the public sale there as well. They were successful in that as well. Okay, so the golden rules, keep it short and sweet. Usually you'll get a 30-minute meeting slot from someone's Calendly. After the introductions, you'll have 20 minutes left, and then you kind of want to leave some time for Q&A as well. So 15 minutes. I've been in pitch calls that have lasted for an hour and a half that have only been 15 minutes, and then the Q&A section has just gone on and on and on and on, which is brilliant. Because obviously the investor's interested, they move everything else out of the way to speak to you. But that 15 minutes is the golden time that you've got to pitch this project. Make your slideshow and practice until you can deliver it perfectly. So make sure you've got speakers notes below each slide that you're reading and looking back to. And make sure that you've practiced enough times with your friends and your family that you can pitch this thing perfectly. And if people give you bad feedback, don't get pissed off. Just listen to it and incorporate it into your pitch, because it's going to help you to improve. As well, like when you're pitching a project, it's a full-time job. You have to really dedicate time just to be speaking and reaching out to potential investors. And don't be disheartened by rejections and no callbacks. You know, you probably 90% of the people you speak to aren't going to be interested in the end. The 10% that are, maybe some of them will go half away and kind of mess you about. That's just the nature of the beast. I mean, this project, this slideshow was first done when it was deep in the bear market. It seems like the market structure's changed now. We might be in a bull market, but that was a very hard time to raise. However, the projects that were consistent and that kept hammering away at the pitches, they were the ones that were successful. And the money doesn't come immediately either. It comes after all the due diligence is done and all the checks and this kind of thing are done. Yeah, it can be quite a long process. So, but don't let that put you off, because it can be what drives your project to the next stage. So yeah, thanks for coming along, everyone. And if you want to keep in touch, I've got a couple of, here's my email address and my Telegram as well, so you can just reach out to me there or here in Discord if you like as well. Do we have any questions? Okay, can't see any questions. I'm going to show off. I actually received a pitch deck today from somebody. So if I can just get a couple of minutes to find that. And we can just go through that as well. So is anyone here from Chain Owl? I know I did tell the team to come along. Okie dokie. I'll just wait for Gefson's question and then we can continue. Okay, Gefson's taken a while to write the question. So this is a pitch I received from someone today that's published this on YouTube. Brilliant. It's on YouTube. That means that people can, don't have to necessarily look at it. They can just listen to it because you've got voiceover. But one thing I did notice straight away is that there's a lot going on here. Like, it's very complicated. Every slide has a lot of text. They've got the competitor analysis in, but again, there's like too much going on, almost. Okay, so you can see here, perfect customer. So if I was to tell this team to change anything, I would just say, like, cut out most of this text and kind of try and replace it with graphic. Okay. See that there's a lot of stuff going on here that could be trimmed down, and here as well. So yeah, just try not to go too heavy on the text because it's very, very hard to read. Yeah, it is too much reading. Low 8.stars. It's far too much reading, but it's a good pitch deck. I think it includes everything, but there's just too much text. So they need to find a way to cut this down and to make it a bit more visually friendly. And they've gone over the 50 minutes here on the video as well. Actually, a great thing to do is to create a 1 minute or 3 minute quick pitch as well that's in a video format that you can just shoot out. Usually you'd be reaching out initially by cold outreach, so you'd have like a list of potential VCs. Maybe you've got a human instead of the info@vcwebsite.io address. If you've got a human, great. You can hit them with a quick blurb, and if you hit them with a short video as well, then that can be a brilliant way to get someone's attention and get through to the next stage. Phone call. Nice. Okay. Oh, we've got Inferno from actually, I think from Chain Owl, right? And so yeah, she's saying that this is done as a project, not as a pitch deck. So yes, it was for a course, but if obviously for a course, you have to do different level of kind of put the wording down as much as possible and kind of go a bit more graphic. Geth Sun says, thanks for that great presentation. What if my project is hard to pitch for funds? I mean, like, it is a social tool, may take time to get real value. Yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised what projects are successful. I think it's a lot down to the effort that they put in to to their project and their pitch, and to develop with a social tool, you'd want to develop a big user base first, right? So you might want to spend a lot more time on ambassador programs and on running incentivized test nets and that kind of thing to get it off the ground, so that you can have a lot to talk about when investors come to you. You can say, look, we've got 10,000 users already using our platform, or we've got tons of followers on Twitter and that kind of thing. So it might be worth putting more time into those areas before you go into any funding round. You want to be ready to impress without knowing the full details of what your project is. So for that, maybe bonus block would be a great way to start, because it rewards on-chain interactions and it's got a lot of people already in the system. It's like giving them mini airdrops, but they're having to interact with the product as well. So you're generating transactions on your social platform at the same time as people are learning about it for the first time, and they're also getting rewarded as well. I'll post the website for this as well. It's quite interesting. Have we got anyone here who's done a successful project launch outside of a hackathon that's actually tried to do a fundraising round? Have we got anyone that wants to potentially do a fund round after the hackathon is finished, or after the project is launched, or during the launch process? I can see a few people typing away. Inferno, what do you think is the best place to look for funding for this type of project? So if we're talking Chain Owl, which is like an educational type of project, I would say, maybe you want to start with grants programs. You could potentially focus on educating people about one blockchain in particular, and then apply to their grants program. For example, a lot of people applied to the last Secret Network grant scheme with kind of educational projects to push the privacy, private smart contract narrative. So that could be something you could look at. I know, for example, Internet Computer have got a grants program. That's an example of quite a niche blockchain that probably wants you to educate people about Internet Computer. So it might be interesting for you to start there. We actually have a sample grant application, which I can send in chat as well, which is useful to figure out how to structure these things. So this is the Secret Labs grants here. And the sample application is all the way down here. So this is great for like a kind of framework to build a grant application. So you've got milestones. So let's start from the top then. So you got your project description, your problem and solution, again, like your pitch deck, a detailed product description. So this is where you go into a bit of technicals. Remember here, you're applying to grants from a blockchain's technical team. You'd have your go-to-market plan as well, value capture for the Secret Network ecosystem, your team members, your website, experience, any code that you've got published and open source and that kind of thing, LinkedIn, development roadmap. So this is a bit more of a technical roadmap, and then milestones, achievements as well. So for example, like you could have a testnet launch of your educational platform, and you could have a goal of 100 users for milestone 1, submitting transactions and using your platform and achieving goals as well. And then milestone 2, you might have testnet launch and 200 users. Milestone 3, you might have mainnet launch and 1,000 users, for example. So that's how you kind of structure these grant applications. And if you can link your product to a particular blockchain, like with GOV.DAO, for example, we had a lot of clients that are DAOs. So we help DAOs to form for the first time often, and we help to build a framework that works for their project's needs. So every business is different, and we get a lot of new DAOs coming to us and asking us about private governance features because they don't want to reveal, for example, all of their movements to everyone else on chain. So it was something that we knew that the clients that we have wanted, and we structured our grant proposal that was successful around those features, and we're now building them because we won the grant. So there's a sample application. Actually, if we go to the GOV.DAO website, we're in the process of starting a funding round ourselves for our project. And we have spent a lot of time on the tokenomics aspect as well. So you can see here that we've got all of this stuff ready, and we're having all of these docs built into a pitch deck at the moment. So you can see that we've got all of our tokenomics stuff kind of laid out before we even started on the pitch deck and reaching out to investors. So anyone that's interested from a pitch deck call can go onto our website and deep dive into these after the call, and all of this stuff is out there and ready for them. Okay. So we're actually in the process of having this finalized, and then we've got a designer doing our pitch deck, and we'll start to outreach to VCs that we've got particularly think that will find it interesting for one and aren't scared of holding equity tokens for another. And then if we still need to fill the funding round, we will maybe reach out to some more. So you can see all of our funding round information is here as well. Okay, so they get, depending on the size of their investment, they get a certain amount of tokens, and then we can also offer them advisory services as well in legal and regulatory matters. So that's kind of one of the extra bonuses that people get. Okay, Remsen has said, what about social media? How can we grow the community with fundraising? While having funds in the bank will allow you to spend money on initiatives that could potentially grow your community. So you could, if you got a private investment, you could spend a lot of money on having a social media team that pumps your project and markets it effectively on legacy social media and shows people how to move over to the new system that you're building. You always need to spend money to make money, right? Maybe we can show quickly the logo AI as well. I found this really useful when I was setting up a couple of different companies now. So it's just like a quick logo generator. Let's say, what do we want to call our company? Let's call it Secret Network. So let's call it Secret Source, something like that. Okay, our industry is going to be Where's food? Okay, can't see food, so we'll just say that it's travel. Restaurant, there we go. Color scheme, let's go with warm, let's go with gradient. And then font type. We can choose modern or elegant. Slab, don't know what slab is, but handwritten, playful, futuristic. I think we should go with handwritten. And then, in a matter of seconds, it makes you some pretty cool logos, and you can change these. You can change the logo and all the icons that are there as well. So maybe we go with that one, for example. I just put a symbol of a bottle next to it as well. Which one looks like ketchup? That looks like wine. This looks like a ketchup bottle sort of thing. Then click OK. It's gonna generate some more for me quickly. There you go. So that one's pretty cool. These are pretty cool. This one I would say would be the logo. I'm going to save that and I'm going to send it to one of our validators who's called Secret Source. See if he likes it. Yeah, I think the pricing was only, when I last did it, it was $50. So hopefully it's still the same. And I got all of the pitch deck slides all logoed up, all with the correct color scheme, and a lot of graphics to use for backgrounds and infographics and that kind of thing. It was quite cool, actually. Nice. Yeah, it has a watermark now, Remsen, but when you actually buy it, the watermark goes. So you don't need to worry. Well, you know, you have to buy it. I suppose someone with nifty Photoshop skills could get rid of that pretty easily, but okay. All right, guys. Is there any? If there's no more questions, then I guess we can just call it there. A couple of minutes early. Sean, is there anything you wanted to add?
No, just thanks everybody for being here. We'll have more workshops next week, starting on Tuesday. We'll have a legal compliance workshop. Do you want to talk about that workshop at all, Skrillah?
Yeah, I probably should actually. Yeah, so my colleague Oliver is going to be leading up that workshop for legal and regulatory compliance. He is a blockchain legal regulatory professional with 10 years in the game, both for blockchain projects and fintech projects as well. He has got a lot of insight into all the latest changes that are happening across multiple jurisdictions around the world with regards to like how you should set your project up, where you should incorporate all that kind of stuff. He's prompted knowledge for anything like that. And he works with me over at GOV.DAO, so he helps to form and set up DAOs for people. I think he's going to be going over the different DAO setups that we have. We focus around investment fund DAOs. We focus around community and team DAOs for like MPOs and that kind of stuff. We have a bespoke and new project that is a trust fund DAO. So for the first time, you'll be able to set up trust funds as legally operating DAOs. And yeah, he's going to be diving into all that stuff. So yeah, it'd be brilliant to have everybody back. And yeah, see you there. if you have any questions for us as well, I'll just paste my information in the chat. So you can reach me at Bryn GOV.DAO on Telegram. That's probably the best place to reach me. Do tell me about your project, and I'll tell you how you can book in a call with us as well if you want to talk about setting up a DAO. And yeah, we're looking for people to come and test our DAO tooling as well. So if you're, building a product you think you're going to need a DAO or a governance solution, then get in touch, because we want people to help us to sort it out and to make it the best product it can be. And Gefson, please reach out to me, because maybe we can team up on this.
All right, thanks so much, Skrillah. This is awesome. Thanks everybody for joining today.
Cheers, guys. Catch you around. Good luck with the hackathon. I hope you hope everyone wins a prize.